Well, good morning, everyone. Hope your Saturday is off to a great start. Um, Today is my anniversary. So Julie and I are celebrating 28 years of marriage. So I just wanted to put that in the video. Happy anniversary, Julie. But I want to also take your attention to Daniel chapter number 1. I just began reading through Daniel in the last few days, and Daniel is something that a book that we oftentimes come to some pretty amazing conclusions. Many people say, oh, wow, this situation that Daniel's in will never happen to us. Well, being taken to another nation will probably never happen to us. But I got to tell you, right now, we're in a nation where it's changed how we're being treated. Each day I watch the news and I see the religious figures, because of their desire to worship, are being threatened with thousands of dollars in fines, even threatened with arrest, things like that, while because of COVID-19 concerns, but we're releasing the criminals in our jails out of the jails because of COVID-19, because of the idea that somehow being in jail with a mask on is worse than being out in society committing more crimes. And I haven't figured that balance yet, but the Bible tells us that right will become wrong and wrong will become right, and that's where we are. Daniel finds himself in a situation where he's being asked to basically worship the king of Babylon's gods by eating the foods that are offered to false gods. And so Daniel does something very specific, and it comes at a cost. It doesn't say it until after he asks the person in charge of him, if he could do this, what the cost would be. So let me just read a few verses to you, then I'm just going to make a few comments, and I want to make sure you understand something. We're in a time where religious liberty is becoming criminal activity. The Constitution gives us the right to assemble as religious groups, but our country, many of our governors are saying that we don't, that right doesn't really matter. And so you got to be careful there, because as soon as we start saying that certain rights don't matter, it's going to get crazier in here. Daniel knows exactly what I'm talking about. So in verse number 8 it says, chapter number 1, book of Daniel, verse number 8 says, "But Daniel purposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now God had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs. And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, who hath appointed your meat and your drink. Why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sort? Then shall ye make me endanger my head to the king." So we see what the basically, if the person that gets in trouble, if he gets caught allowing Daniel and his three friends to eat food that is not sanctioned by the king, off with the head is the statement there. It says, why would I want to endanger me and my family and have him see you worse? And this is where Daniel has thought this through. He said, you know what, if you will give us these things to eat, test us 10 days, we'll see what happens. See, I want you to understand that our society has gotten to the place where we have elevated sinful and criminal rights over the rights to worship God. And Daniel was in that position. He was in a country where the God of the Bible was not even a thing that had any rights, or was even a God that was sanctioned to worship. And Daniel was asking for something as a captive that was unheard of. And yet, if you'll read through the rest of the chapter, Daniel was rewarded, and he wasn't rewarded just in that day. He was rewarded in the way of outlasting 2 more kings in Babylon. He was going to stay in Babylon his whole life, but he was going to outlast Nebuchadnezzar. He was going to outlast Nebuchadnezzar's son Belshazzar. He was going to actually be in the reign of King Darius. And so please keep that in mind, that when we honor the Lord, when we do what is obedient to the Lord, no matter what the governing officials say, God will bless that. He didn't say that you would avoid being taken captive. He didn't say that you wouldn't have to pay fines or actually have an arrest on your record. He didn't say any of that stuff. He did say that he would be with you and he would take care of you. And so my encouragement to you is this: it is getting crazy out there, but you honor the Lord. Stay in the right pattern of honoring the Lord. Don't allow ourselves to be shuffled to the side as irrelevant. We are God's people, and we need to behave like it. I hope you'll come out tomorrow at 8 a.m. for our outdoor service. We're going to talk about what it looks like to be a genuine follower of God. And I hope that you'll come out tomorrow, or if you are out of the area or unable to make the 8 o'clock meeting, please tune in at 9 and 11 tomorrow. I will give the same message in those services. And I want to make sure you understand that we're going to talk about what it means to be a genuine follower of God. What happens when Christ comes into our lives? And I hope you'll be either present or viewing with total focus tomorrow. I hope you have a blessed Saturday, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.